Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the iPen Podcast. My name is Nanette Buchanan, and we come to you every week, Monday night at 6:30 with our guests. And as usual, we have a good one for this evening. We want to welcome you and tell you a little bit about what we do and how we do, and why we do. I am Nanette Buchanan, and I am the owner of iPen Visions. My co-host is Felice Reeves, and we bring inspiration, we bring conversation, and we bring those who have been there, done it, tried it, couldn't get it started, whatever it was that had them going. I offer them to be on our platform to discuss their challenges, how they did it. Because what we want to do is we want to help the community become better. And we can't do that if we're only doing it for ourselves and not reaching back and saying, hey, let us help you. So that's what we do. I have iPen Podcast, where if you are interested, you can contact me at iPenDesigns@gmail.com or go to my website and get the information from www.netmbuchanan.com. We offer our podcast, an hour broadcast to tell, as I said, what you do. And then we also want to put you in our magazine and get it out there. We have a quarterly magazine. It's out for 3 months. It's digital. You share all the information digitally, but so does everyone else that's in the magazine. So that's 3 months of spreading what you do as well as how you did it again. So we like promoting people and mentioning that. I need to bring to the stage my partner in crime, because that's what she likes to do. She's one of those entrepreneur spirits that just likes to bless everyone and give everyone her version of what she does. Hey, Felice.
I don't think that's a crime.
You don't think it's a crime? Some people think it's a crime. Because if
Yeah.
it wasn't a crime, more people would do it.
Well, okay. Well, then it is a crime, and I'm happy to be your criminal partner.
How are you, my dear?
I am well. Thank you so much. And again, excited to be here tonight to celebrate because I am a celebrator of entrepreneurs. I can say this, though I got
Yes.
Invisaligns in my mouth that are trying to hinder me. But nevertheless, I'm
Mm.
super excited to meet our guest tonight and just talk about all of her wonderful endeavors and things that she brings to the table into the world or brings to the. I heard something the other day. It's like, I don't bring things to the table. I am the table. So
Hey, hey. And this, I'm going to tell you, this dynamic woman has more than a table. She brings the table, the chairs, the invitation for you to sit, and everything else. So we want to make sure that people learn and understand that it's more than just your knowledge. It's the knowledge of those around the table with you, because that's what she does. She collectively brings that together. And I really, really, really stumbled. And I say it in a figuratively way, but we stumbled upon meeting her. And it's one of those things where you don't call every day, you don't see them every day, but you're in the heart every day. So that's why I invited her to be a guest on our show, because that's what we're about, hearts to hearts. So with that being said, our guest today is Miss Barbara Miles. I'm going to bring her to the stage and let her introduce herself.
yay.
She's our guest for the evening. Barbara, how are you, dear? How are you?
I am fine. How are you, Nan?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Wonderful. It's
And I
always
want to introduce you to my co-host, Felice Reeves,
Yes.
and she is a celebrator of people such as yourself.
Yes, I
lovely.
am.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
My pleasure as well. Just can't wait to get to know you very, very well here and then beyond. So just if, Nanette, if you're ready, let
Let's
us.
get into it. Let's
Yeah,
get into
let's
it.
go, ladies.
All right. So Barbara, tell us, who is Barbara Miles?
Yes.
Oh God, I don't even. There's so much. My husband always teases me. He says, "Baby, you should have been a judge, a lawyer, a private investigator, a stand-up comedian." And the list just keeps going on. Hollywood, he just keeps naming all of these things.
Mhm.
I think when I think of myself,
Mhm.
I think of myself as being first, um, I love God. Period.
Amen.
I do. I love God and I serve God. And I like to help people. I think of myself as being that person that can help others. When I pray, I ask God to bless me so I can help, so I can bless others.
Exactly.
You know, because that's what makes a difference in the things that you do. If you're not trying to help others, really, seriously, you're doing this all for you. You're not going to try to help nobody else. I can't. I don't deal with. So I am a caring person. I am a person that have many gifts, and I use them. I do. I stay pretty busy, and I listen.
Mm.
I have compassion for other people. Matter of fact, if y'all was to talk about something and start crying, I'm crying with you. I'm like, girl, oh stop. I'm there. I'm there. So, you know, it's that's me in a
That's
nutshell.
who you are.
And so
So
Nanette, she's a whole buffet table then.
hey, I
She's not
told
just
you.
the table, she's a whole buffet table.
I told you the table, the chair, and would you like an appetizer? You know, anything that you need on that table. And if it's not there, she's
Yeah,
going to tell you where you can go get it
yeah,
Mhm.
and how you're going to go get it. And
yeah,
that's what we want to do on the podcast. We
yeah,
want to serve those that watch the podcast, those that go back later and watch the podcast. We want to serve them with something that they can feed on
yeah.
and understand that it doesn't take someone spectacular. It takes you to become spectacular.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. It doesn't, you don't come in and step in being all that you can be. You have to
Right.
build it. And from what I understand, you started building that
Yeah,
through doing what you do. So
yeah.
where did it all start? How did it all start?
Um, when I was 6 years old, the first time I went on stage.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the first time I went on stage, I had to act. I don't even remember the character. Well, I played flute, and then there was a little skit that I had to do on stage. And from that day, at 6 years old, it made me realize, hmm, there's something about that feeling of being on stage that I like. So
Mm-hmm.
I've done it ever since then. I've always been on stage. I have always done that. I've always participated in different community activities. I played softball. I was a home run hitter, left-hand shortstop. I ran track. I was in plays. I sang on the choir. I uh, I participated in any type of community event that was taking place. I just was always active because
Mm.
I liked being a part of something that's making a difference in someone's life. Even a skit with meaning can make a difference in someone's life. So
Yes.
always
Yeah.
participated in a lot of things ever since I was 6, and that just started me to where I am now. It made me the person, the actress that I am now, the casting director that I am now, the writer, the playwright, the motivational speaker, the talk show host. I had a radio talk show. I mean, it just went on from there. I didn't stop.
Yeah.
I just kept going. So yes.
So now to do those type things, and you know, I know because my son and daughter were well, my daughter was and my son is in that field.
Mhm.
And I never was the type that wanted to be on the stage. I had no problem with giving you what you needed to get on the stage, but I'm not the one to go on the stage.
Mhm.
Can you explain to the audience the difference when you're the actress and you're the writer, or you're the poet but then you're the speaker, the teacher? All of those couple into each other, but they are so uniquely different.
Mhm.
They are, because I've done all of it.
Mhm.
I have been the writer and the actress in quite a few skits that I've written. And the only difference for me was well, not only the writer and the actress, but the director, producer, all of it. So the difference is the amount of responsibilities,
Mm,
because now, like when I'm an actress, all I got to do is learn my lines and do what I do. But when
mhm,
I'm the writer, the director, the producer, it's making sure that everybody else is doing what they need to do to bring that character to life. And I don't have a problem with doing that at all. My patience is like, it's okay, baby. Here's what I want you to try. That's why I tell people all the time, you know, the first thing a lot of our people will say is, oh, I've never done that before, I'm not going to do it. How do you know
mhm.
what you're capable of doing if you don't try?
Wow.
And you know what? That's an overall statement.
Yeah.
That's an overall statement.
It is.
You
It
know,
really is.
for anyone.
Mhm.
And see, that's the connection that we try to give people every time we come on. We
Mhm.
try to explain to them that today you're looking at someone that's been successful,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it could be you tomorrow.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So, a woman of many things, and not just things, accomplishments. Let me change
Thank you.
things to accomplishments.
Thank you.
In the buffet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, how do you navigate? And maybe this isn't something for you, but most people would say it's maybe overwhelming. All of the accomplishments. Is there a way that you understand how either one fits into the other, or how do you then be many tracks, if you will? Because I really don't want to say things that seems like that does not fit whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you navigate the many accomplishments, the many tracks that you are and do, and balancing that with, if you've never tried something, yes, you don't know that you can do it, but
Um,
how do you do that?
prioritize is so important. There's a list of priorities, that things that have been scheduled, that
Sure.
has to be done. And when you look at the rest of the things, all of the other tasks that you need to accomplish that week or in the next 2 weeks, you've
Mhm.
got to make sure that nothing is interfering with the other, because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise you're going to be in a mess. And you don't want to tell people that you're going to be a part of something and then didn't check your schedule, didn't make sure that
Mm-hmm.
everything was in order. So you have to prioritize, and you have to make sure that you're giving everything that you got to whatever project you're doing. It's so important that you just don't take any of them lightly, just because you may be like for instance, if when I've had to speak at schools before, it could have been a small amount of students. It could have been just a classroom. But do I supposed to look down on that as being, oh, it's just a classroom? Or do I give it the same priority that I would if I was filming a movie or in a play? I do, because it's just as important and it's just as meaningful. And that's the thing. If you're going to do something, if you're not going to be compassionate about it, if you're not going to give your all to it, then why bother with it? Because if you're going to speak out of school or any engagement where you're going to be speaking, it's important that you be able to reach people, especially the youth. So you can't be half stepping. So I make sure that whatever I'm doing, that I try to prioritize. I make sure that I am going to present to whoever I'm dealing with my best. I'm going to let them see me, the real me, and how much I absolutely care about other people and what they're doing and what they're involved in.
Awesome. Woo!
Yes, yes. And when you share in that way, when you're committed in that way, it just shows. It
It
just
does.
it just becomes the glow about, when you step into an area or you step into a room and someone says, "There she goes."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
automatic an attachment because of the simple fact that you're that way today, you're that way tomorrow, and
Yeah.
you've been that way in the past.
Yes.
So it's important to stay mainframe and steady, because in this world now, it's so many people that come see, come saw. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want you to accept it regardless if it's top line or it's in the basement.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say that, we appreciate the fact that wherever you're presenting, wherever you're speaking, that you are giving it your all, because a lot of times we don't demonstrate that in everything that we do.
I
And
agree.
that becomes a major problem.
It
So
does.
in doing that, you created the North Carolina Stars Entertainment LLC,
Mm-hmm.
where you do legacy film productions and different things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Where is that based?
Here in
I mean,
Fayetteville.
okay, so it's based right in Fayetteville,
Right in
North Carolina.
Fayettille.
Now,
And
Yeah.
tell our audience what it is first
Yeah,
before
right. So that's what I was going to
before we
say.
go.
So
Okay.
now that it's based in little old Fayetteville,
Mhm,
what inspired you to say, well, I'm not going to go to Raleigh,
mhm,
the bigger city, or I'm not going to go to Greensboro, the bigger city? And I'm not talking about your personal choice. I'm talking about as far as business is concerned. Like you said, it's based right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So now that you know that, hey, we got entertainment right here,
mhm,
how do you get people to evolve around that?
mhm.
It's sometimes it can be challenging, but I think at the beginning, well, not think, I know. For a
Yes,
fact,
ma'am.
it,
Yes,
it
yes, ma'am.
was it was somewhat challenging at the beginning. North Carolina Stars is all types of entertainment. It can be a play, a movie, mystery dinner theater. It can be any of those things. And I've done all of those. I've done every one of those. We like to bring people to the table that is motivated to want to do something. Maybe they've never done it before, but that's why me as a casting director, I got you, boo. Listen, this last movie we finished filming in March,
Mm.
I put 21 people in that movie. Only 3 of them had acting skills.
Wow.
Mhm.
3. And because I felt comfortable doing that, well, the
Mm.
reason I felt comfortable doing that is because I know me. I've always been a boss. My husband tell me I am not your employee. I'm like, baby, come on, just do it. But I have to watch myself with that because I know that, yeah, I know I can be a little bossy sometimes, but
Mhm,
because of my previous management skills, and I used to own a nightclub too, yeah, and a thrift store. Yeah, I've done so much, but because of my experience with so many employees in the past,
mhm,
it didn't bother me at all putting people in that movie that did not have any acting skills
mhm,
because I knew that I was going to help them bring that character out. If
mhm,
you seem interested in acting, whether it's a movie, whether it's a play or mystery dinner theater, then being a part of our team is where you want to be because we're going to help you to bring that character out, and then we're going to use you some more. That's what we want. We want a team of people that we can use over and over again, that is serious about what they're doing, is
mhm,
going to be on time, they're going to learn their lines. We want professionals. You may not have ever done this before,
mhm,
but now that you are,
mhm,
now you know what we expect of you, and now you can be the professional that we can take as high as we go. And
mhm,
that's what we want to do. And
mhm,
so this entertainment business, and the legacy film productions, we want to bring all types of entertainment. And we don't just we're here in Fayetteville. I started it here in Fayetteville, but we filmed in Charlotte and Raleigh
mhm,
also. Oh
mhm,
yeah, we did. We
mhm,
definitely did. We had to go there more than once.
mhm.
So it's not like, matter of fact, speaking of filming, we will be going to DC this weekend through God's grace, and
Man.
we will be filming JJ Fad Supersonic. Remember that girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We will be filming their documentary at the National Hip Hop Museum in DC this
very good.
weekend.
Wow. Very
We have almost finished their book of the writer Q Chambers. Oh
good.
God, this guy writes. It's right now. I probably have 3 or 4 books that I need to read that he has written in the
Mhm,
past month. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to get new glasses. Q, Stop. Stop. He sent me a movie the other night and told me today the amount of characters that I'm gonna need and all of this. I haven't even read it. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's like we need this team of people. So anybody that's listening, if you have any, regardless of whether you don't need to have acting experience, just join our team. If you're motivated to want to be a part of it, that's all you need: the motivation, the drive, and the determination to say, I'm going to be good at it because I got Miss Barbara as my casting director. But
Well, well, let me ask you this, because you've brought it up a few times in what you've said. Being that casting director, talent coordinator, being a person that's already into plays and everything, and you and I already, through our relationship, we already know what we do.
yes,
And the thing is that, Felicia and I always talk about it, the change of the attitudes, it's the change of the time. And, you know, we those of us that are spiritual, those of us that do believe, we've already know that there's going to be changes in people's, the way their perception of things.
mm-hmm.
I've always had problems, even with me, with my novels and everything else. I always clash, and not clash personally, but clash with the idealism of the instant dollar, the instant hustle. So if I come to you and I'm looking at it to be a short-term fix, I'm looking at the instant gratification of Hollywood. I'm looking at the instant gratification of the stars, my name in lights. How do you bring that person down to realizing that they have to hone their craft?
Well, you have to crawl before you walk. It's as simple as that. That's the bottom line. You got to crawl before you walk. What makes you think that you're supposed to come in here and just go all the way to the top when there's others that are a lot more experienced than you are and have been in a lot more films? I don't want you to be discouraged that you can't go to the top, but I don't want you to think that it's going to happen overnight. I don't want you to feel like
And that's,
because you have these skills that it's going to put you right at the top. Understand that there's a line of people that have more skills than you do. So we're going to work on perfecting your skills. We're going to work on making sure that we can get you close to getting to the top. And then eventually you can get exactly where you need to be if you keep working at it. If you keep believing in yourself and trusting that God is going to put you, your prayers are going to be answered. It can happen. It definitely can happen, but it takes.
But Miss Miles, it's not me. I bring to you who I am. It's you. You don't recognize my talent. You don't recognize that I need that top role. You don't recognize that I'm the best that came in your door. You don't recognize who I am. I'm supposed to be that star. I don't want to be a co-star. I want to be a star. I want to be this, because and I'm saying it that way so that our audience understands that a lot of times people don't want to put in the work. You're telling us all of these things you did, and it seems so easy to say, I've accomplished. But tell us, there's been challenges, right?
And then, and I really, really hate to say this because I never really even talk about this, but there really haven't been a lot of challenges
for you, but
for me. But
for you,
but listen, that's not to say there won't be challenges for others, because see, I'm a different person. Nobody's the same. Nobody is the same. Just because it happened for me doesn't mean it's going to happen for somebody else. And yes, I see that you're gifted. I love your talent. I love your enthusiasm. I love your motivation. But what I don't love is you expecting for things to happen overnight. What I don't love is you thinking that you are supposed to go at the top of the list when there's a list of other people that have a lot more experience than you do, and they may get there before you do. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm
Mhm.
saying that there's a possibility that you won't if you keep that mindset of, I want to go to the top right now. I want to do this right now. Because
Mhm.
what are you actually doing to get there? Because
Mhm.
if your attitude is like that, 9 times out of 10, your attitude is not going to be the right one to get you where you want to go faster.
Right.
Change that attitude about getting there so quick, so quick, so fast right
Mhm.
now, and
Mhm.
start focusing on your attitude being, you know what? I'm going to do this better. I'm going to do this better. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to apply
Mhm.
for all these auditions. I'm going to put in the work. The Bible says faith without works is dead. Put
Good.
in the works
Mhm.
and see where your faith will take you. That's what I can offer anybody that thinks that they can go to the top. They can, but you
Mhm.
got to believe and you got to put in the work.
Well,
Mhm.
I would like to interject like a billion things here. But I'm gonna start with this first one, and I got like a 12-part question here. But the first one is, it would seem to me, and help me if you agree or disagree, that people with that thought process are focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on being seen, not
Mhm.
having their gifts and talents to share to the world. I mean, they again, it is about a positioning as opposed to an establishment, if you will. So, do you agree? Do you not agree on that? And it's okay either way. But it would seem to me that their mindset is not on the right
Mhm.
thing.
I absolutely agree. And that's unfortunate. I have met people that were like that. I've met people like that in the past. And it's unfortunate because I've seen their work, I've seen their abilities, I've seen what they were capable of doing. But then there's this attitude about how they want it right now and how they're better. A lot of times when a person think, well, I should have this and not you,
Mhm,
it's looked upon, to me,
mhm,
and this is my personal opinion,
Mhm.
I
mhm,
feel like it's a very
Mm.
selfish
Mhm.
outlook on and is, and in a way is demeaning that other person and not giving them credit for their abilities.
sure,
It's
Mhm.
okay to be confident about what
mhm,
you do. There's nothing wrong with confidence, but sometimes you can be overconfident, and sometimes you can make a person feel like, you know what? I don't even like being around that person because they
Mhm.
brag on themselves a lot. Well,
mhm,
I should have been there. I should have. Yeah. Well, it's it's not always about you.
yeah,
Sometimes it's about being a part of a team and seeing how you can, what parts you can play in that team, and you never know, being a part of that team can actually promote your career. It can
Mhm.
actually promote you to getting closer
mhm,
to being that star that you want to be.
yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so my second part to that is, started down there in our theme right now is inspiration. So,
Uh-huh.
where do you draw inspiration? And then I'm gonna tack onto this because I wanted this to be my big question, but I already knew, and you said it before, that you you don't have many
Challenges.
challenges.
Mm-mm.
So with that, and that's okay because I love this, because I already have something I know I'm gonna say at the end of this show. But failure. What lessons have you learned from maybe the one failure that you have experienced?
I fell before.
Oh,
I have.
so tell us again,
Just not
what
often.
did you learn from that? Because it's not failure unless you didn't learn something, right? It's
Yeah,
learning. It's really not. But anyways, tell us, tell us what you did.
it was a show. It was a complete failure. It was a talent show. Um, Skits, poetry, dance, singing. I sang in a band at the time, and the band, we did good. But there wasn't hardly anyone there. Some of the acts didn't show up, so thank God for my acting ability. I was able to go out on stage. I hadn't planned on doing it and do some things that I had not planned on doing. But what I know that where my failure came from was
Mm,
me being overconfident about this being a top notch show, that it's going to be the bomb. I mean, I bragged about it a lot. And I feel that my overconfidence, I didn't even rehearse that much. And because I was so confident that everybody knew what they were supposed to do. And it just, I cried that night, because I mean, it was okay, but because I had such high expectations for it, I was so disappointed, and I was so hurt. And it was because of me that it was that way, because here I am thinking so big. I mean, it was the first or second show I had ever written, and you're so confident that you feel that you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, everything is just going to be perfect. No, you need to, the same steps that people take when they're doing an event, where there's rehearsals, where there's contacting, all of the communications that are done when you're doing an event should have been done that night. And so I learned from this point on. I didn't pray about it. I didn't even pray about it. I didn't even go to God about it. I was so confident. Seriously, seriously, stop. Um, when
Yes.
I was sitting back and I was talking to God, and I was like, so God, you know I messed up. You know I messed up. You know I was too confident. You know I didn't even call on you. I didn't even pray to you and ask you to help me with this and make sure that this is a success. I need you to forgive me for this and help me not to do this again, please, because I don't think my heart can take no more of this. Okay?
That is so true. When we go under our own power, or because we think we're magic.
Yeah.
And I think that just what Felice said about, the challenges that you get those challenges. I can't tell you how many times, because, well, you both know, I write inspirational pieces every day.
Yeah.
That just brings out my day. And if it's a negative piece, I think today I did I'm a Leo, and I did the Leo piece, and I thought it was comical to, just say, somebody talking about who let the dogs out, and I'm looking at them going, yeah, bless your heart, because I'm a lion, I don't need you to, what is a dog gonna do,
Yeah, you don't
so
do that yuck, and you roar, huh?
yeah, the confidence that I have, so I understand totally what you mean about the confidence, and in some cases I always ask, how do you get someone to even understand that it's the confidence and the mindset that you have that sparks everything? And then it's the faith and belief that you have in fulfilling the purpose that God has given you. And if that is truly the connection, if all of the dots connect and everything else, that's where your success comes in. That's where things meet, that you have to automatically connect these dots. So you've been blessed from the age of 6 to be able to collect the purposeful dots, to be able to say that, hey, this is what I have to do, and this is what we want. But in every business, regardless if you're working for someone or you're working for self, or you're trying to get others to work with you or for you, we meet those challenges because their minds are not always the same as ours.
That's true.
So in the years that you've done what you've done, I looked and I saw where it says that you are also a part of the Fayetteville Women for Good.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the Fayetteville Women for Good is?
Yes, Fayetteville Women for Good. As a matter of fact, I'm vice president of Fayetteville Women for Good and have been for over 2 years. This is an organization that is a part of the Giving Circle, and we give donations to nonprofits every quarter. Every quarter. It is important that you ladies give my information to any nonprofit that you know of, because we put it in the batch and then it's voted on, and then they present themselves to us, and if they are the ones that have been selected, we give them a donation. The smallest donation so far in the past 2 years have been $11.50. Last quarter, we were able to give away over $2,200 to one nonprofit, and it's just The only thing is they have to be legitimate, which means that they have to have it has to be legal with the government, and it has to be functioning. It has to be a functioning nonprofit. It can't be something that you're starting up or just started up. It has to be a functioning nonprofit, and it's only for Fayetteville residents or within 20 miles of Fayetteville. But other than that, anybody. And because me and my president and our media advertiser has done so well with Fayetteville Women for Good, they are starting. Well, we just did a meeting greet for Fayetteville Men for Good. So we're going to need a president, a vice president. We're going to need men to lead that and to do the same thing for the men, because there are men that have nonprofits, and we want them to have a piece of the pie too. So just think about that. If there's a man that you know of that would like to take over, we're going to help them. But theirs will be totally separate. But I think it's such a wonderful thing that we are giving money to nonprofits, and the only thing they have to do is be a nonprofit and be legally with the government. That's it. We don't tell them what to do with the donation after we give it to them. We just like to see some of the results. Like some of them have sent pictures or videos showing us what they did with their donation, but we don't tell them what to do with their donation at all.
Wow, that's impressive.
And now, what do you do to get the donation? Where does the donation come from? And is the
members? Anybody can join.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Fayetteville Women for Good. You can go on the website, FayettevilleWomenForGood.com, and you can become a member. We have quite a few members. That's what the amount of the donation depends on the amount of donations that we receive from the members. That's the only way that we can donate, from the donations we receive from the members quarterly. So you give what you want, $50 on up every quarter, and that determines what amount we're going to be giving to the nonprofit.
Very good. Oh, I love that.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
that's
so we're gonna need a Dallas, Texas chapter. So
they're everywhere. Look up the Giving Circle. Fayetteville Women for Good. Oh my God, they are everywhere. The Giving Circle, especially. I mean, I was gonna print out one of the meetings. I was gonna print out the Giving Circle, all of the locations. But when it got to over 30 pages, I'm like, stop.
no.
No.
Okay, well, no to police. Find the Giving Circle here in Dallas, because that is phenomenal. I love.
And you know what the thing about it is too, is that a lot of times when you have organizations such as these, everyone just is under the assumption that all organizations that are doing things such as this, even though you have a small requirement, they're looking for it from the government, who has a list of requirements.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes that list excludes instead of includes.
You're right.
Absolutely. So the thing is to have the Giving Circle, to have Fayetteville Women for Good, to know that the Giving Circle gives and they're all over, you know, throughout the United States. That's beautiful. That's beautiful to know that it's for nonprofits. Now, let me ask you this about your expertise as a speaker. Have you found that your speaking, of course, when we go to speak, we have to, you make the arrangements for the audience, you know what audience you're going in front of, you know how you're going in front of. Have you found that there's more people now asking to be speakers than listeners?
Yes.
Why do you think that's so?
I don't know. I think maybe people have more to say. Maybe a lot of people are feeling that their voices need to be heard. Maybe a lot of people are feeling that what they have to say can be relevant to what we're dealing with society today and with the youth and some of the things that we're experiencing today. A lot of people may feel that way. I enjoy speaking, especially to the youth, because I try to help them to understand it's a totally different world out there today. It's totally different than when I was young. And so you have to be encouraged that everybody that smiles in your face is not your friend, and understand that you're the only person you can put all your trust in is God. And for anybody, and I always try to explain, listen, I'm not trying to make you be a God lover. I'm not trying to make you get saved. I'm not trying to make you do absolutely nothing. But I'm telling you that the only person that you can put all your trust in is God, because he will never fail you. So when I tell them these things, I talk to them, to the youth, and I let them know, don't be discouraged when you fail. I mean, and it may hurt. I'm not saying it won't hurt, because it may, and you may cry, or you may get mad. All type of emotions may occur. But when when those tears have dried up, when that anger have subsided, when those emotions are gone, the one thing that I want you to always concentrate on is, I'm going to try it again. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, because I know I can do this. Believe in yourself enough that you will try it again and again and again. And eventually you will succeed, or you need to try something else. But either way, just keep believing in yourself, and believe that if you attempt to do something, 9 times out of 10, if you put your heart into it, if you put your soul into it, if you work hard at doing it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be successful at it, or at least you're going to be able to do it, and do it quite well. So I just encourage the youth when I'm speaking not to give up, and the adults, I encourage them, be a parent to your child and not your friend. They are not your friends. They are not your friends. You are their parents. So you don't need to be trying to hang out with them. You don't need to be trying to do this and do that and do this and do that. You need to be a parent to their child. Because my baby boy will be 31. As a matter of fact, on Saturday, and I'll be in DC. I got to miss his birthday. But the thing is, my children better never curse in front of me. What you're not gonna you not gonna do that, boo. That's what you're not gonna do. I just don't. I never could. Look, I was in my 40s and found out that mommy would let us say piss. I was like, we're all sitting at the table, me and my sisters and mommy, and my sister said, and she pissed me off. I said, Mommy, you hear what she said? And she said, oh, stupid mommy let us say piss.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
However, I do know that and I'm sure that you impart this on the youth, is that, they have the saying, the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting different results. But in that, the wisdom of that is that each time you do it, you are learning something. You're not doing it the same
way. Yes.
If you take the time to learn what went wrong in that. Otherwise, yes, if you keep doing it over exactly the
same way, that was a good point.
Different results. That's because you're not trying to learn the process or learn what you missed in that in order to be successful. So, like I said, I do applaud you for that. I applaud you for the encouragement, especially of our youth. I mean, because in this day and age, they need a lot of things, but encouraging them to go in the right direction is paramount to everything.
It really is.
Yeah, it's paramount to everything.
And it seems to be that in this phase of the AI generated and the computers and the TikTok, I had a young lady that contacted me after being, I was a coach for some good amount of years. And she contacted me. She said, look, I need you to give my son one of those speeches that you gave us, because he's just not getting it. And his idea was that he was going to be a TikTok sensation and make thousands. He was going to, and I said to her, well, what's his talent? She said he doesn't have a talent.
Oh.
He just is assuming that if he just makes a couple of videos, that it's just going to blow up, because he's going to have all of these numbers and everything else. So the thing is, even though me writing books, Felice doing the phenomenal job that she does with, making sure that people are in the right place at the right time to create things for her organization as well, you doing what you do, I think our unified message for the youth has to be that behind the smile and the big cars and the money and the accolades that movie stars get or anyone gets
Mhm.
is knowledge.
Mm.
I agree.
You have to know what it is, because behind that TikTok, all the way down to the lighting that you need to produce the video, you got to have the knowledge of what do I need to do.
Mhm.
And that type of knowledge comes from a person like you, Miss Miles.
Right.
That type of knowledge comes from a person
Mhm.
like me. It comes
Mhm.
from a person like Ms. Reeves. It comes from those of us that have made mistakes and found out we had to go back to the drawing board
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and do it like Felice said. We don't have to tweak everything, but
Mhm.
there's a few things like we might have to learn that if you get there 15 minutes early, you don't have to rush
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Right.
look rushed getting on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Just small things.
mhm.
But he just assumed that he was going to be the next, number one
Mhm.
TikTok,
Yeah.
and we had to really, and it was harsh on her because
Oh,
that was his thing. No, I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm going. And she said, when are you starting this?
Mhm.
He said, as soon as I graduate. Well, why aren't you starting it now? Why
Mhm.
aren't you researching now? Why
Mhm.
aren't you looking? If you want to be the next actress, the next writer, the next
Mhm.
producer, the next whatever, don't sit back and just assume that as soon as you walk out that door with that diploma,
Mhm.
that it's going to drop in your lap.
mhm.
Yeah, and they don't believe. I believe they do not believe that there's work involved. It's not a one and done thing. You can't get on there one time because whatever brought you there, you're going to have to rinse and repeat, rinse
Yeah.
and repeat, rinse and repeat. You're going to have to do that, and that is lost on our generations right now. Of that, the microwave that you don't have to put anything into it. You just have to be and show up
Mm-hmm.
and to understand the reality of your success. If you are successful, can you deal with it? And most people cannot.
Yeah.
They really cannot
And
deal with
how do we deal with that,
Mhm.
Barbara? How do we hone all of that? You hone it with a pretty smile and a nice attitude, and you're willing to help everybody. Like just come to me and ask me a question. If I can answer it. And I love this about her attitude, Felice. One thing that I can honestly say: if you say to her,
Mhm.
"Well, I tried that,"
Mhm.
her answer is usually, "But I told you to come back if you needed help."
Mm.
That's usually her answer. I've heard her say it 2 or 3
Mhm.
times
Uh-huh.
to people that I didn't know. As a matter of fact,
Mhm.
she said it to someone the other day when she and I were on the phone. I was
Mhm.
telling her goodbye, and she was
Mhm.
telling the person, "But I told you,
Yeah.
if you needed that information, to
Mhm.
come back."
Mhm.
Mhm.
And we don't often get a comeback person.
Yeah.
So
So many
again,
of
Barbara, I want to thank you for being that comeback person, because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't get that comeback person from a person that has done it.
them.
Yeah.
But then how do we impose that responsibility on our youth that they are responsible? And it is, no man is an island, no matter how much you think, oh, it's my talent, it'll get me here. No, you still need that audience to support you, whatever, an infrastructure to support you, but then having the responsibility of all of that, because, we see this of, even if you have a team of people, sometimes you get such the big head that you're like, oh, I don't need them, or you treat them like dirt, not understanding that it is not,
They're helping your balance. So
yeah,
Barbara, how do we
yeah.
keep them? What do we do?
Mhm.
Um, being in management, the majority of my life, some of the things that I had to learn now, I wasn't always good at it, because when I got out the military and I went straight into management, restaurant management, I was good at managing the restaurant,
Mhm.
but my communication skills were not, because I mean, in the military, we don't have to say please and thank you. Just do it. Get it done. I told you to do it. Why haven't you doing it? Got time to be apologized. I wish I would apologize to you. You better get over there and do it. That's what you better do. You know, so it was challenging to me to change the way that I talk to people and to communicate with them respectably. So I had to constantly work on it. I had to constantly say please and thank you when I talked to, when I gave them directions on something. I had to develop patience, more patience, because in the military I didn't have it. I wanted you to get that done like 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. And I was like that in basic training. I was a platoon leader in basic training, so you know I had an attitude. I'm like, a girl, if you don't get okay, video when I get back. You know, it was like that.
Yes, military life is different, I'll tell you.
I had to change. My boss said to me one day, Barbara, you cannot continue to talk to people the way you're doing. He said, you cannot be cursing at these people like you're doing. Mind you, now he cussed us out on a daily, but he told me, I looked at him like, a minute, you just cussed out people over there. Just leave it alone. But he's my boss, so I'm like, Steve, you're right. You're right. And I had to change that, because I had to make my team understand that the same respect that I expected them to give to our customers, I need to be giving to them. How am I going to tell them about respect when I'm not even respecting them? How am I going to tell them that they can't curse at customers and get mad and have an attitude with customers when I'm doing that to them? So I had to change me and make sure that I set the example for them. I had to make sure they understood, I care about you. I do. I care about you. And I promise you, if you show me that you care about being here and you care about your job, you're not going to stay an employee. I'm going to cross-train you. Right. I'm going to cross-train you. I'm going to cross-train you for this, that, until you know everything you need to know to be a shift leader and then a manager. So I had to change me in order to fit what I was trying to convey to my employees. Otherwise, they'd have been looking at me like, how are you going to tell us to respect them? You don't even respect us. So I had to change it.
1,000.
And that's beautiful. That's beautiful, because that's growth. That's growth. And that's exactly what we need to do. You know, each one teach one, each one elevate one, each one embrace one, each one show the other the way. And I want to commend you, because the thing about it is to be in career after career after career and hold title after title after title, and yet still grow. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get people that get in a title and they just hone that title. They're the top of that title. But if you ask them to make a left turn, they'd ask you what is left. Because they're so used to doing things their way and not being able to function without doing it their way. So that part is so important, especially to those that want to go into a new career or those that want to try a new career. I mean, I commend you simply because in my writing, I've asked 1,000 times, well, okay, this looks great. Someone asked me the other day in an interview, well, you can go into screenwriting. And I had to tell them, no, I can't. I don't have the patience for that. And they said, no, you'd be a phenomenal screenwriter. I said, no, I won't. And they said, well, why are you saying that? I said, because I don't write short. That's a talent. To be able to take my 400 pages and turn it into 120. That's aggravation to me, because now you done took Sally Smile out of scene 2. You done took somebody else out of this. I know it's going to be phenomenal after you finish cutting it down, but I won't be the one cutting it. So I say that to say, how do you get people to know what their place is in these situations, in plays, in films, in production team. And you got a guy that's holding the light, but he wants to hold the mic. You got somebody that's doing the filming, but he wants to be the editor. How do you, like you said, now you got to learn how to craft these people with communication. But how do you craft them into, again, gaining knowledge before they know, believing in themselves? I know my realm, but I'm also 60 something years old.
Yeah.
So that's life. You know what I mean? Life teaches you your realm. So when you get these younger people that come in and they want to grasp for more, how do you get them to trim it down a little bit?
Every case is different. You can't say that this will work for this person or this will work for that one, because people have different personalities. You have to sit and talk with that person and see what you're dealing with, see what level they're on, see where their mindset is before you can tell them this, that, and this and that. You can offer the regular stuff like, well, if you work hard, yeah, you can do that. But the stuff that they really need, you have to know something about them, their character, their personality, what their goals are, what they want to achieve, and is there a time set that you want to establish? You need to know who you're talking to and what exactly their goals are before you start sitting down, because every conversation that you have with people it can be different. You can say pretty much the same things in a way, but it has to be catered towards what this person's expectations are. So, and the only way you can know that is by having a conversation with that person and finding out exactly what it is that they want.
Absolutely.
Well, I've enjoyed this hour. I mean, this hour went by so quickly because
God,
the time has flown. Of course, you're welcome to come back anytime. We are about inspiring.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we do. So we'd love to talk to you, because you inspire, you ignite. You don't inspire. Now we got candles on the table, Felice.
Yes.
Now we got the table. We got everything.
That candle was lit a long time ago before we even got on this stage. But before we go, and after I say this, I've got something to say to you, Miss Barbara. But tell us how everyone can get in touch with you to stay connected to the life that you are. So that
if they want to reach out for any of your information that they've heard here tonight, any way that they want to get into the Women for Good, anything they might want to know about the Giving Circle, how can they reach you?
North Carolina Stars at yahoo.com, and that's North Carolina written out. And because I've got, I think it's 18 roles that I got to fill for this movie that we're getting ready to do. So I am going to need people.
North Carolina Stars at where?
At Yahoo. And North Carolina is written out. And I don't think I mentioned, but I've been in 11 movies and 2 TV shows.
Wow.
And 4 of those movies are on Tubi right now. I just wanted to go on and put that out there to you. So I'm looking forward to us being able to establish. Now, there's no telling what you and I might wind up doing. You know that, right? And I'm looking forward to whatever.
And I'm going to put it out there too. During my and I don't hide it at all, because by God's grace, I've been turned around completely.
Yes.
Just like Felice, I met Felice in the early stages. I met you in the early stages when I was battling with cancer. And having my period of time where I had to shut everything down, and now we're starting everything back up. And I want to thank you both openly, because support like yours is hard to find when you don't know what's going on. When you want to cry, but you don't know why you even want to cry, because you don't know what you're crying about. So I want to thank the both of you for being a part of my support, being a part of my prayer, being a part of my, hey, I don't feel good, but I ain't telling nobody. And, so I want to thank you. But yes, iPen Visions, Felice is a part of that. And you, with what you do, we are more than happy to be on board. We just have to get together and get it done. That's all. That's all it takes.
And feel free to give out that email to anyone that's interested in being a part of Fayetteville Women for Good, or being a part of our team with movies and plays and mystery dinner theaters, because we plan on doing a lot of it here. There's a place in Rayford that just opened up, owned by Blacks, and it is the most beautiful event space I have ever seen. I don't think it's just beautiful, and it's owned by Blacks.
Nice.
And we've got to learn to support each other.
That's the biggest problem our race have. We don't support each other, like what they're doing now with Kamala. That but that's a different story.
But I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody.
May I say my thing before we go?
Yeah, but I'm gonna thank them, and then I'm gonna let you close it out.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody that's tuned in and listens. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for being with us every week. If you have any idea or thought that you want to run by us, we're open. We're open. And if it has to go to North Carolina Stars, I don't have a problem passing it on. Felice doesn't have a problem passing it on.
Thank you.
Ways. So please don't hesitate to open up and be inspired, because that's what's going to help us survive.
Yes.
So Felice, close us out, baby. What is it?
Okay, this hour I did not want to end, but I could not wait to get to this point, because as soon as we started talking, God said, this woman of God here is an inspiration, but she models the very essence of I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
All things. I talked about that buffet table. No, we got a whole, banquet. Not just a buffet table, but a banquet. We do all things. And that is, you model that. And so I wanted you to know that you touched me. So I am super inspired by you. And
don't do it.
Get rid of my little slacker mentality.
All right, we're gonna close out tonight. And again, I want to thank everybody, and stand by, ladies. We'll talk to you guys next week. Wait for our next show next Monday night.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Wow.